rain is battering most of the
Concentrated heavy rain sweeps the nation. The problem started when a narrow cluster of rain clouds stayed in one area for too long, resulting in torrential rain. Amid reports of flood victims and even fatalities, the Disaster Relief Authority goes into emergency mode. Reporters Ji-sun and Kim Ji-yeon reported on how much more rainfall was expected and the extent of the damage that came after the torrential downpours throughout the week. There was also extensive reporting on the response and analysis of the reasons for the torrential rain.
Ji-sun, Arirang News. It was a musical performance.
Connie Lee brought us a story about a special concert that happened on Korea's easternmost Dokdo Islets. The concert happened on July 15th on board a ship off the coast of the Dokdo Islets. The theme of the event centered on the already extinct sea lion that died off because of mass fishing by the Japanese 60 years ago. The initial plan was to hold the concert on the Dokdo Islets, but high tides and strong winds made the docking of the passenger ship impossible. The plan quickly shifted to doing a guerrilla concert on board. Connie Lee delivered vivid scenes from the concert. On June 25th, a cyber attack hit 69 South Korean institutions simultaneously, including the presidential office of Cheongwade and media outlets. On July 16th, the government announced that North Korea was behind the act. An investigation revealed that 2 IP addresses used by North Korea in the past in cyber attacks were used in the June 25th cyber attack as well. Arirang News' Yoo Li-an reported on the story.
Yoo Li-an, Arirang News.
우리 몇 번째인지 모르죠? 두 번째.
차 실무회담은 오는 월요일 교섭공단에서 열립니다. 이번 회담에서도 불합을 지속하면서.
Now, the two Koreas have just minutes ago concluded their 4th round of working level talks on the issue of normalizing operations at the jointly run factory zone in the north.
Our Unification Ministry correspondent Hwang Sung-hee has been covering this story from day one, and she joins us live from the Inter-Korean Dialogue headquarters. So, Sung-hee, what's the latest?
Guys, officials from the two sides have wrapped up their meeting for today less than an hour ago, and they have yet again failed to reach an agreement. They will meet for their 5th round of working level talks next Monday in Gaesung as they try to reach an agreement on ways to normalize business operations at their jointly run factory zone in the north. Going into today's meeting, it was widely expected that the two would not be able to reach an agreement as they remain divided on various fronts. How to normalize the factory zone?
We met with reporter Hwang Sung-hee, who was covering the new round of inter-Korean talks on reopening the Gaesung Industrial Complex.
The reason we are going on to our 5th round of working level talks on the issue of normalizing the joint business park is because the two Koreas are very divided on some of the key issues. South Korea wants preventive measures from the north to guarantee that such a closure will never happen again. But North Korea just wants to open up the complex immediately. So the two sides are having a hard time trying to meet the middle ground.
The Gaesung Industrial Complex had become a symbol of economic collaboration between South and North Korea, the only divided nation still on Earth. The shutdown of the industrial complex came because of worsening relations between the two Koreas. A working-level meeting was held to discuss the reopening of the complex, but the two sides failed to come to an agreement. The third working-level meeting was held this Monday. Many reporters gathered at the headquarters where officials taking part in the inter-Korean meeting had huddled together. Reporters form a press pool to cover the story about the ongoing talks over the Gaesung Industrial Complex.
네, 알겠습니다. 네. 네.
세쿠리티이 3년밖에 진행이 안 돼서 정말 이거 뭐라고 드릴 말씀이 없네요.
Breaking news comes in from the press pool at the Gaesung Industrial Complex.
세쿠리티의 접근 시간 때문에 많이들 궁금해하셨는데요. 전체 회의는 10시 8분부터 11시 반까지 열린 게 맞습니다. 이게 상황을 확인할까요?
Because I can't be at the right time, at the right place all the time, what we do is we kind of form a network among the reporters. So if I get some new information, new updates, and I see that one of the reporters are not around, I would tell him or her that there is an issue, and then he would do the same for me when I'm not there. So yeah, I think it's also teamwork for the reporters.
The on-site live news connection is scheduled for 2 p.m. With 1 hour left, Sung-hee quickly updates her story with the latest updates.
안녕하세요.
Media outlets get busy preparing for the news. Sung-hee also arrives at the site.
이게 올라가야 되는 건 아니겠죠? 아 진짜요? 근데 이거 무너지는 거 아니에요?
내가 올라갔어.
아 정말요? 비 온다. 근데 비 와요.
큰일 났다. 안으로 돌아가시네요.
The weather messes up the perfect camera position.
이거 꼈다 다리에.
The estimated damage from the shutdown is 1 trillion won.
Talks between the two sides got going at around 10 a.m. this Monday
With the
morning.
situation turning more serious, there has been a lot of attention over the issue of reopening the industrial complex.
The two Koreas are holding their third round of working level talks today on the issue of normalizing operations at their jointly run factory zone in the north. For more, let's connect live to our Unification Ministry correspondent Hwang Sung-hee at the Inter-Korean Dialogue headquarters right here in Seoul. Sung-hee, what is the latest?
Kanyang, the officials are now probably engaged in their afternoon session as it was scheduled to begin sometime around 2 p.m. Korea time.
The third round of talks gathered more media attention than the others. Many reporters are connecting live to their respective news centers at around the same time. Reporter Hwang Sung-hee concentrates on her voice so her story is heard.
Well, from the third round of talks, South Korea sent a new chief delegate to Gaesung, so many were expecting that the two Koreas may be able to reach a more concrete agreement with this new chief delegate. And since the two Koreas have exchanged their stances at the previous talks, at the first and second talks, many were expecting that the Koreas will actually talk about the real issues, such as safeguards and whatnot, the globalization. But I think they're not really doing that right now, which is too bad.
브리핑 아닙니다. 온 브리핑 아니에요.
브리핑은 여기서 하는 게 아니고 서울에서 하는 거예요.
Another breaking story is delivered from the press pool at the Gaesung Industrial Complex. The third meeting ended at 5:07 p.m. without an agreement. The press room is under a storm of pressure ahead of the 6 p.m. newscast.
Well, for more, let's connect to our Unification Ministry correspondent Hwang Sung-hee at the Inter-Korean Dialogue headquarters. Sung-hee, could you fill us in on the latest?
Hi, Daniel. Yes, after 7 hours of negotiations, the only agreement that the two sides came to was that they would need more time. Like you said, the third round of working level talks between the two Koreas came to an end less than 1 hour ago. However, the exact date of their next meeting has yet to be announced.
The incoming breaking news story ahead of the live connection puts added pressure on Sung-hee, and it's already the fifth of the day.
I really like being the one delivering most up-to-date news in real time, so being on air every 2 hours isn't really an issue for me. But the thing is that I think this happened a lot with the inter-Korean talks. Every time, like right before my live shot, I would get updates from Gaesung, then I would have to improvise or kind of go without a script on air, so that was challenging, but yeah.
The fourth working level meeting took place 2 days later. Sung-hee heads to the Inter-Korean meeting headquarters once again. Sung-hee makes a phone call after examining the story files sent in by the press pool.
연결을 또 몇 시간마다 해야 될까요? 2시는 왠지 한번 쉬고 그럼 2시에 한번 단신을 내고 4시, 6시 다시 연결하고 이렇게요. 괜찮을까요? 알겠습니다. 네. 선배. 저희 저거 뭐지? 2시 연결 안 하기로 했어요. 12시 하고 2시 한번 쉬고 4시. 괜찮죠?
The schedule is similar to when the third meeting took place. So it's been decided that it would be better to wait until the ongoing morning meeting ends to add more to the story.
Well, I think being on air a lot isn't really an issue for me. One thing I'm really happy about is that nowadays, I think from the second round of talks, it tends to end before 6 o'clock, so maybe that's something that the two Koreas agreed on. But because before that, there was a time when we had to wait until, I think it was like 4 a.m. the next day. That I felt was really a challenge for me physically, but other than that, for now, I'm completely okay with what I'm doing.
On the exact conditions for doing so.
It appears that there will be several more inter-Korean working level meetings over the Gaesung Industrial Complex. And reporter Hwang Sung-hee is expected to be on call for live news connections from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every 2 hours, given that it's a story of importance and interest for viewers.
The two Koreas agreed in principle to reopen their jointly run factory zone, however.
And for more details, we connect live to our Unification Ministry correspondent Hwang Sung-hee at the Inter-Korean Dialogue headquarters here in Seoul. So, Sung-hee, what's the latest?
Yoo-sun, officials from the two Koreas began talks right on schedule at 10 a.m. on this Wednesday morning in Gaesung. Like you said, this is the fourth round of working level talks between the two Koreas as they try to normalize business conditions at their jointly run factory zone in the north.
What are the key issues at today's talks?
As a dedicated Unification Ministry correspondent, Sung-hee is on site at the Inter-Korean meeting headquarters, continuing with her coverage.
Principle to resume operations at the Gaesung Industrial Complex. However, they are struggling to reach an agreement on the exact conditions for doing so. Now, Seoul is demanding Pyongyang for safeguards.
I've been covering the Unification Ministry for less than 6 months, and I think all these talks between North Korea and South Korea really helped me adjust to the new beat that I'm covering, so that's really good. And I hope that the two Koreas will come to an agreement soon on resuming operations at the Gaesung Complex and maybe move on to bigger issues, more important issues. Not saying that the Gaesung Complex is not important, but you know, the ministerial level meeting that they were planning to hold. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to more news to cover on that front.
So you're on a 2-day visit to Korea, which includes a working...
Romania traditionally had and has...
What kind of progress have the two countries seen so far?
Economic exchanges between our two countries increase, bilateral agenda, which is very important.
You will?
Yes.
All right, now... Moves a mess.
이거 안 되죠? 위에다 못 깔는 거 아니에요? 네, 여기다 못 깔는 거 여기다가 위에다 뭐 깔아. 네. 테이블 돌려줘갖고 여기가 la două plecăm singur pe dejun. Așa.
Great, thank you so much. And you are?
I'm Alexandra.
Hi, nice to meet you. I've been practicing Chema Fudge.
Chema Fudge.
다섯 여섯 개.
Hello.
My name is Min Jung Kim. Oh wow.
But they are not so strong.
Oh wow. An espresso, but it's not good.
Also the humidity is
Very, very high.
warm.
Let me go back to the tightest.
You can say titles if you want.
Zen.
You already have a message on you.
Our newspaper is a one newspaper.
일단 내 폰에 돌릴게요. 시간은 적어주시고요. 셋, 둘, 하나.
So you're on a 2-day visit to Korea, which includes a working lunch with Korean Foreign Minister Yoo Li-an and a visit to Daejeon.
It's my first official visit to the Republic of Korea, and I can tell you that I'm already very impressed. So we have a very strong basis to advance with a good political dialogue.
What kind of progress, especially in the field of business, are we seeing?
Well, I can confirm the fact that despite the current situation, speed of the investments and trade
Thank you, Minister, for your time this morning, and allow me to use my first Romanian language or word that I learned this afternoon. Mulțumesc. Thanks very much.
Family next time.
Is it okay? Yeah, I think it's okay. They just want to do the ending again. Is that okay?
How do you say?
Oh yeah, that'd be great. 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you so much, Minister, for your time this morning, and allow me to use the first ever Romanian word that I learned this afternoon. Mulțumesc.
And allow me on my turn to return this mulțumesc in 감사합니다.
Great, perfect pronunciation. Thank you so much.
So let's think through the project.
See you again.